don't start a conversation.
For the first step, make sure that you're using running water of at least 100 degrees Fahrenheit and that you remove any jewelry, example rings or bracelet, before you begin because they can trap germs. Next is remove your hands from the water and use a squirt of soap to remove soil and transient organism from your skin. Next, with hands still out of the water, rub palm to palm for about 5 seconds to create a ridge lather. Next step is massage the back of your left hand over the right palm for 3 seconds to spread the soap. Repeat above the process with your left palm on the back of your right hand. The next step is palm to palm with finger interlace. Next is palm to palm, but this time with interlocked fingers.
Not very good with people.
Next is rotational rubbing of fingers.
Not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. We won't have one. If you don't start a conversation, conversation, we won't have one. We won't have one.
Next is use the fingers of your right hand, rub your left palm in circling motion in 3 seconds and vice versa.
Not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation.
Next is circular rubbing the wrist to forearm. Next is rinse the soap off of your hands until the water runs clear. And lastly, dry your hands with paper towels. When you're finished, use the towel to turn off the faucet because you've touched it with dirty hands. There is a good chance that it's harboring the bacteria and germs you just washed it off.
Not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation.
The first step for surgical hand washing is wet your hands with the right
If you
temperature.
don't start a conversation, we won't have one. We won't have one.
First, get the nail pick and use it to clean your nail underneath.
Not very good with people. If you don't start.
So the next step is scrubbing the both set of nails 30 strokes each. One stroke is back and forth.
We won't have one. We won't have one. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. We won't have one.
Next is divide each finger to 4 planes and scrub each plane 10 times.
Not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. Not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one.
Next is divide your hands and forearm and above 2 inches to your elbow 4 sides, and each sides you will scrub it into 10 times.
If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. We won't have one. If you don't start a conversation, conversation. We won't have one. We won't have one. I'm not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. I'm not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. We won't have one. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one.
Next is repeat all the scrubbing step to your other hand.
I'm not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. I'm not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. I'm not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. We won't have one. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. We won't have one. I'm not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. I'm not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. We won't have one. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. We won't have one.
Lastly, after all the scrubbing step, rinse your hands until the soap is not present.
I'm not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one.
After rinsing your hand, use some paper towel and pat dry your hands until there is no wet with your hands. Make sure that you will use another paper tissue to dry your other
Not
hand.
very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one.
So first step is pick up the cuff of the right glove with your left hand. Slide your right hand into the glove until you have a snug fit over the thumb joints and knuckles. Your bare left hand should only touch the folded cuff. Slide your fingertips into the folded cuff of the left glove. Next step is use glove left hand to pick off the folded cuff of the right glove and pull glove up to the gown wrist. Place the finger of the glove right hand under the cuff of the partially gloved left hand and fold the cuff down over the gown sleeves, and make sure the glove fingertips do not touch your bare forearm or wrist. So the first step is rotate the right glove to face downwards to your right hand.
Conversation. We won't have one. We won't have one.
Next is pinch the right glove and pick up the glove and make sure it is palm to palm and thumb to thumb. Place the left thumb under the cuff exposed on right glove and stretch glove over right hand, keeping your right fingers straight, and pull down the glove with your left hand using a combination of glove and sleeve pulling. Ensure the white cuff remains inside the glove. Repeat the procedure with left glove.
I'm not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, you won't have one. I'm not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. We won't have one. If you don't start a conversation, conversation, we won't have one. We won't have one. I'm not very good with
Put
people.
on gown, fully cover your torso from your neck to knees and your arms to end of your wrist.
If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. We won't have
Then
one.
tie at the back. The gown should be large enough to allow unrestricted movement without gapping.
We won't have one. We won't have one.
Fasten at the back of the neck and waist.
I'm not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one. I'm not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one.
Put on surgical mask or P2 or N5 respirator. Secure the ties or elastic bands at the middle of the head and neck. Fit flexible band to the nose bridge.
I'm not
Fit
very good with
mask snug to face and below the chin.
conversation, we won't have one.
Put on protective eyewear or face shield.
Don't start a
Place over eyes or face and adjust to fit.
conversation. We won't have one. We won't have one.
Remove gloves using one hand grasp the palm of the other hand and peel off the first glove. Hold the removed glove in the glove hand. Slide the finger of the ungloved hand under the remaining glove at the wrist and peel it off over the first glove.
If you don't start,
Discard the gloves in the waster container.
I'm not very good with people.
Next is remove gown. Unfasten the ties, ensuring the sleeves don't make contact with your body. Pull the gown away from the neck and shoulders, touching only inside.
Conversation.
Turn the gown inside out or fold
We won't have one.
or roll the gown into a bundle and discard it into the waste container.
I'm not very good with people. If you don't start a conversation, we won't have one.
remove the face shield, and lastly, remove the face mask.